When it comes to making progress on your money goals, it could be the small things that are keeping you stuck.
Well, it's mid-February. Are your New Year's resolutions still looking good? Or is the bloom off the rose? Are they no longer looking fresh, new, and exciting? There may be some small habits that are keeping you from making the progress that you really want to make on your financial goals. We'll talk about them and give you super easy hacks to turn them into positive changes. They are game changers in the money-saving game.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
The first small habit is mindless spending. Spending without intentionality. How many times a week do you find yourself just scrolling through websites, just sort of seeing what's there, what's new, what's on sale, what's for sale? Oftentimes you find yourself doing this when you subscribe to email lists. And they're sending you an email several times a week letting you know what they have available to buy. One way to change this habit is to simply tell yourself, I'm not going to these websites. You could unsubscribe to the email newsletter list, or you could give yourself a time limit. You could tell yourself, I'm not going to the website unless I have something very specific that I'm looking for. It's akin to going to the grocery store with a written list and sticking to the list. Take that analogy and sort of apply it to those websites that you're scrolling on, and I think that'll help.
Oftentimes we do what Hope termed mindless spending when we're bored or we're tired, or maybe we're just lonely. We want a friend. We want something special to come in the mail to kind of fill a gap. But these aren't really good reasons for spending money. You want to make sure that you're planning on what you're going to spend and how you're going to use that money.
Another way to avoid this habit of mindless spending is to always be prepared to ask yourself a series of questions before you hit the big red buy button. You need to ask yourself, do I need this item? Do I need it now? Is this something that I could buy in the used market? Is it something that I could borrow from friends or family? It's something you're not even going to use that often. And is this something that is really worth the money that I'm willing to spend on it? Can I get it less expensively elsewhere? Once you take the time to ask yourself that series of questions, oftentimes you'll find that the answer is, nope, I really don't need this.
One way to combat this habit is to allow yourself a 24 to 48 hour waiting period before you actually push the buy button. That way you've had some time to really think about it, look at the item, look at what you already have in your house and say, is this really going to benefit me? Do I really need it? Have I planned the purchase? Is it in my budget? You can ask all those questions, and that will probably weed out any desire to purchase that item.
Another reason you may find yourself stuck in reaching your financial goals, this is an unusual one, and that is that you are ignoring your own inner discomfort. There's something we call the little man.
How do I know? Because my little man tells me.
You can call it your conscience, you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want that is inside of you that is saying, I'm just not really comfortable with this. Once you start ignoring those inner signals and you override them, it becomes increasingly easy to spend the money without thinking about it. That discomfort is often what we call akin to like a self-preservation thing. It's like a fight or flight response. It's something that's letting you know you need to stop and you need to think about this before you make this financial move.
We're getting ready to move on to the next small habit, but if you're liking this video and you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel and you're interested in budgeting and handling your money in a very healthy way, hit the subscribe button. Another little habit that might be costing you some money is not doing the math on what you're purchasing. I remember when we bought our first house, we had to take out a 15-year loan. And I sat down with my calculator and I multiplied out all of the monthly payments by 15 years. First I multiplied them by 12 and then by 15. And I came up with an amount that just just shocked me. I couldn't believe how much we were going to end up paying for that house at the end of 15 years. It's the same for a car. You're going to go and buy a car. You're going to talk the salesman down in price. You're going to really work hard to get a good price. But then a lot of people will take out a loan and end up paying not only that amount of money back, but even more. So if you do the math and very carefully calculate how much is this service or this item really costing me in the long run, you might change your mind on making that purchase.
Here's the other thing with that car loan. Cars are depreciating in value every single month. Cars rarely appreciate in value.
Yes.
Unless you've got something incredibly rare, it is not appreciating in value. It is depreciating in value. So while you're paying it off, it is worth less and less and less
right.
every single month. Here's another example, and we always tell people, do the math. Whatever you are paying for a monthly payment on a service that you're getting, let's say, for instance, Netflix.
Yeah.
Multiply that amount by 12. Once you multiply it by 12, you can see more accurately the impact that that purchase is having on your yearly budget. Let's give you a couple of more examples. The average cable bill, let's say it's about $100. Multiply that by 12, that's $1,200 every single year to have cable coming into your home.
Isn't that amazing, just to watch TV? Another service that we often don't think about is our phone service.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will pay over $100 a month for their plan on most of the major companies.
A great way to reduce that bill is to switch to Mint Mobile, and Mint Mobile is our partner for this video. Let me ask you a question. Really, how hard is it to switch your cell phone service? It is not nearly as difficult as big wireless would lead you to believe. Larry and I have been with Mint Mobile for well over a year. It took us 15 minutes to switch from our previous cell phone service to Mint Mobile. We used an eSIM card, which I think most phones have available today on them. But if you don't have an eSIM capability, no worries. Our sons didn't either when they switched to Mint Mobile. They had Mint Mobile send them a free SIM card in the mail. The point is, Larry and I were able to switch to phone service with Mint Mobile, sitting in our living room, sitting on the couch, sipping coffee. Of course, it was super easy. And yes, we did get to keep our old numbers. But the best part is, in addition to paying $15 a month for our service with Mint Mobile, we also get to take advantage of Mint's 5G network, which is the largest in the nation. We get unlimited talk and text, and we also get mobile hotspot every month, which we absolutely love and we use every single month. Here's the deal, guys. Big Wireless wants you to believe that they are the only option, but they are not. More information on Mint Mobile, it's available. Scan that QR code, which is right between us there on the screen. You'll want to use our very special link. It's right down there at the bottom of the screen. It's mintmobile.com/under the median. And it's also linked in our description of this video. Stop paying more than you have to for your cell phone bill every month. Mint Mobile, check them out.
The fourth thing that you might be doing is not setting clear goals for your savings plans. If you don't have an exact specific goal set, your savings kind of goes up and down, and it kind of wanders around like somebody out wandering around somewhere without a map. They don't really know where they're going. But if you set a real clear, definitive goal, then you're going to have more motivation to stick to that goal and to maintain your savings.
You know what you call money that's sitting in your savings account without like something attached to it? We call that spending money, don't we? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
If money is there and you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't think there's any real reason to have that money there, you are going to spend that money. We call it the big green pile of cash syndrome, and we too have fallen into it. One of the ways to get away from that is to have, as Larry said, specific written goals. We love quarterly goals. Every quarter, we pick 3 or 4 areas of our budget that we were really honing in on and trying to save money in. After you write those goals down every quarter, you want to have 3 to 5 what we call action steps underneath of that goal. These are the simple habits that you're going to adopt for the next 3 months that are going to help you reach that specific goal. Now, in addition to quarterly goals, we have monthly goals. We also have weekly goals. We call our big three. And just in case you're wondering, no, none of this takes a great deal of time to set up. I'd say less than 30 minutes a month to do the whole thing. And it takes us about 10 minutes every week to look at each other and say, what do you think our big three goals should be this week? Writing goals down, printing them out, putting them in front of you, tracking your progress. That, my friend, is the recipe for success when it comes to getting unstuck specifically from your financial goals and feeling like you're just not making any progress.
Another thing you can do too to kind of help you solidify that goal is attach a so that statement onto it. I'm saving up money for our emergency fund so that I don't lose sleep and worry about something going wrong with my car or with my house or with anything. The so that statement gives it a little bit more of a punch and it kind of like an exclamation mark. It definitely gives it more purpose so that you'll tend to stay with that goal.
If you're one of those people who's feeling stuck and you're like, I don't even know where to begin saving more money in my budget, I wrote an ebook just for you. It's 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses. It's all the major ways that we saved money when we were saving for great big financial goals. That ebook is free. There'll be a link to it in the description of this video. Habit number 5, Larry may or may not have fallen into this one a time or two.
I haven't fallen into it too much since I've been retired. Vending machine spending. You're at work, you're taking a break, you walk out into the break room, there's 3 or 4 vending machines presenting you with all kinds of opportunities to spend money. Now, vending machines aren't as cheap as they used to be. The last time I worked, a candy bar was about $1.45, and sodas were about $1.25. So they do cost more than they used to when I was much younger. A vending machine purchase can cost you a lot of money over time. So if you add up every week how much you spent on that vending machine, you're going to be very surprised. Now multiply that by 52 and get the yearly amount that you spent in the vending machine. And I think you'll be shocked at how much you could have used that money for something else. Here's one thing you can do to kind of help you out with that. Go to the store and buy yourself something to snack on that you like. Let's say some corn chip tortillas or something, or potato chips. Buy a bag of those and then put those in Ziploc bags, 1 bag per day that you can munch on. It'll be a lot cheaper and it will save you money in the long run of spending a huge amount in those vending machines.
It's like your own vending machine, only without the quarters. This will cost you substantially less. Small habit number 6, which may be keeping you stuck, and that is ignoring small expenses. This is one thing Larry and I have been surprised at over the years, that when we began to add up all the little bitty things we were spending money on and just sort of going, oh, it's $1 here, it's $2 there, it's no big deal.
Didn't seem like much.
It added up to a lot more money than we thought, and it added up pretty quickly.
I'll tell you when I first realized that small amounts of money were really adding up on us, and that's, we would go to garage sales every week, and we would spend anywhere from, let's say, $10 to maybe even $25 at a garage sale, buying things that we were getting a good deal on. I mean, we were getting some nice things for a cheap price, but when you add that kind of money up every month and then every year, it's a lot of money. We finally just quit going to garage sales altogether. We just said, we're going to stop doing this because it's costing us too much money.
You know, when we did that, the year that we stopped going to garage sales was when we had a big financial goal, and we were like, let's just try not going to garage sales. And we allowed ourselves 2 garage sales that year, and they were both subdivision sales. And we made certain when we went that we had a specific amount of money we were willing to spend throughout the entire day. Once that money was gone, it was gone. The other thing about garage sales, and I would really challenge you to think about this, the items that you're buying at garage sales, are these really things that you need? Oftentimes we would find ourselves buying something, we just liked it. We had no idea where it was going to go in the house. We didn't have a plan. We didn't have a purpose for it. We were just buying it. And part of that goes back to almost that same thing of the mindless scrolling and buying things online. You can do the same thing in person at garage sales. You're just, oh, it's a Saturday, we're just going to blow a couple of hours. It's like window shopping,
Yeah.
only you're spending quarters instead of a whole bunch of dollars. But it really does add up.
Yeah, for Hope and I think it was just kind of a fun outing.
Yep.
And what we did was we changed that to just going for walks when we weren't headed for a garage sale, and we saved a lot of money by not going to those.
We also, once again, just like shopping at the grocery store, we had a list.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to maybe be able to fulfill that list at a garage sale, but we knew specific items
Yeah.
that we were deliberately looking for. Most of the time, you're not going to walk into a garage sale and go, look at everything on my list is at this garage sale. That
no.
simply isn't going to happen. But just having a list helped us remember
Yeah.
the purpose of garage sailing is not to mindlessly spend money.
Right. Another item that it's real easy to fall into that can cause you to spend money is accepting the status
Yep.
quo. Most Americans don't budget their money this tightly. They don't plan. Most of it is just a lack of planning, I think. And they don't really look out over a long period into the future to see where their money is going to go, where it's going to end up, what they're going to end up purchasing. The status quo is not a good thing to fall
Yeah,
into
no.
because so many, in America especially, they just spend money ruthlessly. They're not really thinking about what they're doing. If you get out of the status quo, you'll be able to save more money.
I think, what is it Dave Ramsey says? Don't be average. Average is broke.
Yeah,
And
there
that's
you go.
true.
There you
It's
go.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Just because things have been that way doesn't mean they need to stay that way.
Right.
There's almost something comforting and familiar with the status quo. But if you really want to save money, you're going to have to walk away from the status quo and say, I don't care what my past was, my present and my future is going to be somebody
Yeah.
who spends money mindfully, has specific financial goals, and knows where they're at on reaching those financial goals. If you'll do
Exactly.
that, then it will be tremendously helpful for you to make forward progress. Now, if you are ready to take this money-saving game to the next level, we gave you our formula for saving money, and we did it in a video. That video is right over there.